against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Magnum Martel, and welcome back to another beautiful video here on my channel, where today we need to sit and have a chat about Oh, How the Mighty Have Fallen. Rockstar Games, one of the greatest companies in the gaming industry today, responsible for such great classic titles as Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead, has decided to get woke, and as a result, they're going to go broke. Buckle up, let's get right into it. So the news originally dropped on July 27th, just last week, coming from Bloomberg, written by none other than Jason Crybaby Soyboy Shrieking Schreier, the absolute worst journalist in gaming history. A man that is so bad that he is single-handedly responsible for everything wrong with gaming's journalism today. I hate this soy boy with a burning passion, and I wish more than anything that he would just go away. Rockstar Games cleaned up its frat boy culture and Grand Theft Auto 2. Now, this is not the article we're going to be reading here today. I'm not reading anything done by Bloomberg because their website is unbearable, filled with ads to the point where it slows down even my brand new computer. They're a horrible outlet, and he talks more about the history of Rockstar than he does about the topic at hand. Effectively, what's gone on here is that within Rockstar Games Studios, there has been a complete change in, well, literally everything. Everyone that used to work on their games and made them good has left the company. And then after some allegations, much like Bungie and Activision, about frat boy culture and flirting with female employees, they've decided to go completely woke and replace basically everyone who left with a team of all women. As a result of this, they have decided to go all the way with this and remove anything that might be deemed offensive from the new upcoming title, as well as replacing the main character that they had not yet planned with a Hispanic woman who's probably, at least in my opinion, going to be a man-hating feminist. So we're going to be taking a look at two different articles here, because effectively one of them doesn't have anything to do with the second half of this story, and the other one has the second half, but much better written than Jason Schreier. Believe me, I read the one on Bloomberg. It was a pain in the ass to read, and it took me forever because Jason rambles on about nothing for 45 minutes, talking more about the history of Rockstar than about the changes. And I didn't feel like filtering through all of that and doing extra work. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at one here by PC Gamer, starting about the female protagonist, and then we're going to jump over to one by Den of the Geek. Because even though it's a terrible outlet that's just as bad as Bloomberg, at least the person who wrote the article did a little bit better job getting straight to the point. Grand Theft Auto 6 will have a playable female protagonist. Players will reportedly have a Bonnie and Clyde relationship with another character. That goes one of two ways, in my opinion. That's either going to be like an actual Bonnie and Clyde relationship where they are a partner and a duo who actually love each other and commit crimes for their own amusement, or it's going to be a she's in charge, she's the boss, he's just a soy boy along for the ride. Think the way they handled the Joker in Batman the Enemy Within by Telltale Games. Believe me, if you played that, they absolutely ruined the Joker. And I get the feeling that's going to be what we get here based on what we're hearing about the changes at Rockstar, but we'll get to that. Grand Theft Auto 6 will have a female playable character, according to a report published by Bloomberg. Soyberg. The report, which focuses primarily on improvements in Rockstar Games' internal development culture, states that Rockstar's next game, Grand Theft Auto 6, will include a female protagonist for the first time. According to the people familiar with the game, it further claims that the woman will be a Latina. I'm surprised that the writer said Latina instead of Latinx. Latinx, I fucking hate that phrase, and will be one of a pair leading characters, the story influenced by bank robbers Bonnie and Clyde. The report does not specify the gender of this second character, or whether the character will also be playable. Now that's interesting. That is very interesting, because that means it is possible, and it's very likely, that it will straight up be a lesbian relationship. Think the new version of Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, post the joke. Other purported details in the Bloomberg report included that GTA 6, or whatever it's eventually called, was originally codenamed Project Americas, and has been in development since 2014. Early designs for the game called for the inclusion of territories modeled after large swaths of North and South America. However, the company reeled back those ambitions, reducing the initial scope of the game to a fictional version of Miami and its surrounding areas. So we're returning to Vice City, which honestly is good in my opinion. Furthermore, the report claims that Grand Theft Auto 6 will be released in a fashion similar to that of live service games like Destiny, with Rockstar planning to continually update the game over time, adding new missions, cities on a regular basis. This, Rockstar's management allegedly hopes, will lead to less crunch during the game's final release. Even in its reduced form, however, Grand Theft Auto 6 will apparently have more interior locations than previous Grand Theft Auto games. We're going to stop here for a minute and talk about crunch. Crunch is something that is unfortunately just an objective reality of the gaming industry. It is in every industry. We experience crunch in the fields that I work, which is you got to get your fucking work done, and you got to get it done now. Which means if you're going to be here all night, you're going to be here all night. We will pay you overtime. That is why overtime pay exists. Because you have to incentivize paying the employees for their work instead of just making them stay all night and do said work. I don't know why the gaming industry has such a problem with crunch. I don't understand it. It seems like nobody wants overtime. Do you guys just not want to do the work? I understand historically there's been problems with people where they've been at the studio all fucking night doing their jobs. And yeah, that fucking sucks. That's just how it works. It's like that all over the tech industry. But for some reason, the gaming industry is the only one that seems to have a problem with it and goes on and on about it to no end all the time. I'm so sick of hearing about crunch and them trying to do something to prevent it from existing, when in all reality, it's inevitable. It's going to happen no matter what. And ultimately, they're never going to actually do anything about it. They're just going to pretend that they're doing something about it to get people like Jason Schreier to shut the hell up. Okay, moving on. I've said my piece. Considering the backlash Rockstar has received for having no playable female characters in any game it has developed over the last decade, if not longer, the inclusion of one in GTA 6 is not enormously surprising. Nonetheless, assuming Bloomberg's report is accurate, it would be extremely unwelcome news. Because the problem with this isn't the female character. Nobody has a problem with playing a female character. Nobody. Abso-fucking-lutely nobody. There's not one person on the face of the earth, well, there might be one, maybe Christian, who says, I don't ever want to play as a female character. And to those people, they can just not play the game. The rest of us, the reason we have a problem is exactly this. They are propping up this female character like it's the most important thing about the game. Like the main character being a woman is the most important thing. And that's all they're going to go on and on about the entire development cycle. They're getting woker and woker. And we'll talk about the other things that they're changing. But when it comes down to it, nobody has a problem with a female playable character. The problem is that they're going to fucking make her unlikable. They're going to write a strong woman instead of writing a good, likable character. And we're all going to not like her. And then they're going to call us sexist and racist for not liking her, even though the reason we don't like her is completely justifiable. You need look no further than Netflix's Resident Evil or the Halo show to understand what a woke, badly written female character looks like. Then you need look no further than classic Lara Croft or Samus Aran to know what a good female character looks like. Compare Last of Us 1 Ellie and Last of Us 2 Ellie, and you tell me which one is more likable. Similarly, the alleged attempt to alleviate pressure on developers with a staggered release of content also sounds like a smart idea. That said, it's worth noting that live service style games release does not guarantee crunch-free life, blah, 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 blah. Nobody cares. So that's the article by PC Gamer. Now we're going to jump over to the other article, which explains why this woke bullshit is taking over Rockstar Games. No, I think the biggest takeaway from this recently revealed details isn't Grand Theft Auto 6 female protagonist, but rather what kind of bigger changes the franchise that new protagonist seems to be partially represent. As noted in the Bloomberg report, there are quite a few changes happening behind the scenes at the Grand Theft Auto developer Rockstar Games at the moment. Many of those changes are designed to address the company's notorious history of crunch culture, according to Shrieker. Rockstar is hiring more producers, making sweeping schedule alterations, offering their employees more time off, increasing access to additional health benefits, and converting former contractors into full-time employees. Time and those who actually work at Rockstar will tell if those improvements have a long-term positive impact on the company. But certainly, things seem to be trending in that direction. Those aren't the only ways that Rockstar's company culture is being changed, though. That report also mentions that Rockstar made an effort to identify and remove abusive employees, is generally trying to combat what is described as a workplace previously filled with drinking, brawling, and God fucking damn it. I can't. Okay, sorry, I had to laugh that one out. And excursions to strip clubs. God damn it, I still fucked it up. One employee noted that the studio was starting to feel like a boys club transformed into a real company. Because it's always got to be called a boys club. I don't understand why people hate the idea of a boys club. Are men not allowed to have things? With those workplace revisions come some creative shifts as well. Here we fucking go. Early reports indicate that the Grand Theft Auto 6 team is trying to make the game feel genuinely more mature than previous GTA games. Specifically, it seems that Grand Theft Auto 6 team is especially interested in cutting down on instances of jokes designed to punch down.
Because that's punching down, and comedy never punches down, it only punches up. I've read that from 50 people that never did comedy. They all said the punch.
And target marginalized groups. While the report doesn't cite any specific marginalized groups that Grand Theft Auto 16 may be referring to, it's worth noting that some of the older Grand Theft Auto games featured notable number of transphobic jokes and characters. I'd imagine those would be the first thing to go. Interesting, some of the employees were very honest about the fact that these changes have forced them to relearn what it's like to work at a company. Not only has the reduced crunch time meant learning to complete tasks during more modest working hours, which has seemingly contributed to Grand Theft Auto 6's longer development time, but the decision to alter elements of Grand Theft Auto 6's creative direction has left some Rockstar employees wondering about the franchise's very identity. After all, Grand Theft Auto has always been a cynical satire of American culture. As some employees told Shrieker, though it's kind of hard to satire a version of America that feels more like a satire of itself with each passing day. Okay, so to better understand exactly what's going on here, quite simply, all of the good people that made all of the games, and made all of the games good, have up and left. They've all left Rockstar. They're all gone. They've all moved on with their lives. And Rockstar has hired to replace them a bunch of young social justice activists straight out of college, indoctrinated by the system, who want the game to be woker and less fun. And that right there. Not only the fact that a couple months ago they removed characters and dialogue from Grand Theft Auto 5's re-release for transphobia, but the fact that they've admitted that they're going to just go out of their way to change more of those things in the release of the next game tells me all I need to know. Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be a woke shadow of its former self. It's going to be something that most people don't want. It's still going to make a ton of money based on the name alone, and they know that. And it's just not going to be good. The main character is going to be a man-hating feminist, a strong woman, if you will, who probably has a lesbian girlfriend that abuses her, or vice versa, or a soy boy, male feminist, social justice boyfriend. That's it. The mighty have fallen. Rockstar is over. Rockstar Party is over. Saints Row went woke, and it's terrible. Rockstar is going woke, and Grand Theft Auto will be terrible as a result. And that's all I have to say about it. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. My name is Magna Martel. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about this new woke culture shift over at Rockstar Games. And I will see you in the next video. Do the things the algorithm likes. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this one.